I distinctly remember the moment my body consciousness began. It was 3 years after I first developed my eating disorder, and I'd just started secondary school. I'd been living off of smoothies and soup and the occasional jacket potato because I had this intense fear of choking on food. Anyway, I was in my first PE lesson and I removed my shirt, as you do, to get changed into your kit, when one of the boys made a passing comment about me being skinny. I kind of shrugged it off and didn't really care, but then more people started commenting on it. And before I knew it, there I was in my first year of secondary school, topless, surrounded by boys with perfect bodies, being called skinny. And I started to wonder if anything was wrong with me, and started to overthink what my body was. So I started using clothing as a way to hide it, and this became an obsession. For example, with t-shirts, I always hated to have armholes, made my arms look skinny and like twigs. And I always strived to have a tighter t-shirt as a result, but when I did that, it made my ribs stick out and made me look even skinnier than before. So t-shirts were ruled out completely. And then I found shirts. Shirts were nice, shirts were comfy and loose and free, and I liked how they didn't really focus too much on my body. And I actually got quite comfortable with shirts for a while, to the point where I'd actually roll back my sleeves because I thought I looked kind of cool. And then people started noticing my wrists were really bony and skinny. And one of the boys grabbed my wrist and then showed everyone else how skinny my wrist was in comparison to his. And immediately I started putting my wrists back up because I was too afraid of people seeing them. I loved winter because in winter you can wear as many layers of clothes as you want and no one will bat an eyelid. It's fantastic. And I used to always wear a t-shirt, a shirt, a jumper, a blazer, a hoodie and a coat, and I felt so hidden and I loved it. No one could see my body and it felt fantastic. It added this thickness to me as well. I felt like I had some fat on me for once and I kind of fit in, and I loved every second of it until people noticed how skinny my hands were and then realised I looked ridiculous with this huge layer of coats on me. So naturally I stopped wearing them. But this temporary illusion, no matter how brief, was a utopia for me, and I found comfort in disguise and safety from behind my barrier of cloth. And this shame had become a shield that I was more than willing to hide behind. And then my eating disorder spiraled drastically out of control and I had to go to therapy. After a few months, I was able to eat again, but this victory was short-lived because I was left with this scar my body was this scar that I couldn't hide, and it felt disgusting and horrible. And I was supposed to be victorious, yet I still felt so defeated. And whilst I was learning to eat, other people were growing and becoming more muscular, and from boys into men. And I didn't hit puberty until I was 15 or 16 as a result of not eating. And I felt so inferior in comparison to everybody else. And then I started calling me gay because I was short, skinny, had a squeaky voice and did drama. And I started to believe them because I didn't have any masculine traits at all, and I couldn't fathom how any woman would ever be sexually attracted to me. Of course, I did soon realise that to be gay you have to actually be sexually attracted to men, which I'm not. And I started to focus on how I could become more like a man. What do men do? And then I realised that men go to the gym, men work out, so that was my plan. I was going to work out, become muscular, and I was going to become a man. So there I was, doing sit-ups, press-ups, I was doing tricep dips, I was even lifting weights, and for so long, for these 2 months, I felt so good. And then when I stepped on that scale at the end of the month, I was much skinnier than I was before I started working out, and I'd actually lost a significant amount more weight, and all my work to become more of a man ended up making me less of a man, and all I had to show for it was this pathetic two-pack that no one really cared about. And I started to question why I was in this horrible skin, and why, no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't become masculine. And I started to feel uncomfortable in my body, and I started to obsess over small things. I couldn't lay down my back anymore because my stomach would sink in and I'd feel empty, and then when I tried to lay on my side, my arms would stick into my ribs and I'd feel bony and uncomfortable, and then I couldn't even hug my mum because I didn't want my ribs to stick into her and make her feel even more uncomfortable. And I just hated every second of being in this horrible, disgusting body. I felt like a cactus that no one could touch, and it was horrible. And I started going on scales every day and shifting my weight on them to see if I'd gain more weight or less. And then I'd stare at mirrors and begin obsessing over my small imperfections. And I started to realise something. I started to realise that the only reason I became so self-conscious in the beginning was because someone else had pointed out the flaws to me, and I'd let them decide that my body wasn't good enough. I'd started to let this warped reality of being a man and being masculine completely change my outlook on my body, and I let them hate myself. And this false perception of masculinity completely formed my outlook on what it means to be a man. I was trying to please people that didn't really care about me. I always thought that being a man you had to be 6 foot and muscular, but I started to realise that you don't, that your masculinity is completely defined by yourself. You're not less of a man just because you're not muscular. And I came to this reality and started to own my body. I'm not 6 foot, I'm not muscular, and I don't care if I don't reach your levels of masculinity. I'm not sorry because I'm a man who loves his body, and that's all that matters.